work out like an athlete. The first tip, get specific. Get specific to your sport, your position, and your role. You need to make sure you're grooving the different patterns and movements that will happen in a game. Because you are an athlete, you're not a bodybuilder, so you need to make sure that if you move fast, you need to be training fast. Additionally, sports like American football or rugby have position-specific training, and that's because different positions need different abilities. So you need to understand what your position is and what kind of athletic abilities you're going to need in that position, because you're going to end up in different scenarios to somebody else on your team. So you need to make sure you get specific so that it can translate from training into games. The second tip is to progressively overload. So by that I mean you should only be doing what you can manage. And if you can't master your body, you need to work on mastering your body weight first. Because in sports, your body is what you're working with. A bodybuilder probably needs to master holding weights because that is their sport. But if you're playing a team or individual type of sport, then you are not going to be lifting weights during that activity. You need to be able to be sports strong, not weight room strong. Basketball is my sport, and someone like Kyrie Irving, he's not the biggest, he's not the most muscular, but he's very basketball strong. He absorbs contact really well, and that's very good for him in his game. But it's obvious that he didn't get there from lifting weights because he doesn't have the muscular definition that someone who bodybuilds does. He got there from playing his sport, from mastering different positions and being strong in those positions so that he can then perform better on the court. And so to get to that point, you need to progressively overload. Start from the lowest level and work your way up over a long period of time. And eventually you'll get to a point where you can overload certain positions so that it becomes easier in the game. And the third tip I have is to schedule everything so that it remains relevant and stimulating. So when I say relevant, I'm talking about the time of year. So if you're in the middle of the season, it's not the time to make gains, it's the time to maintain and stay healthy. You don't need to be going into the weight room 7 days a week because you probably have 2 games, 3 games a week. So make sure you're taking care of your body. Personally, in the season, I prefer to do full body workouts rather than isolation workouts because then I'm working every part of my body in one session. So that means I probably only need 2 to 3 sessions a week to maintain my physique because I'm probably going to be doing extra work in training anyway. And then additionally, you can schedule it to be more stimulating. So one thing that I started to learn as I was in my final season at university was I could schedule my workouts so that 1 month I'm doing one type of full body, then another month I'm doing another type of full body. And that way I can alternate what I'm doing each month and it keeps things stimulating for me mentally. And that way I'm more likely to keep going to the gym because I'm not bored in my routine. So make sure you are scheduling it to be stimulating. Whereas in the off season, that's when you can go as ham as you want to because you have all the time in the world to recover up until maybe the last month of the off season. So make sure that you know what point of the year, what point of the season you are at. You need to have a year-long plan for your training in order to make sure that you are making the most of every minute, every second of every day. So those are my 3 tips. Comment below whether you have any other tips on how to train as an athlete. I did an interview with the Work Rate Movement, which is up on his YouTube channel, discussing in depth more about how to work out as an athlete, so go and check that out. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram. I'm always dropping content on there as consistently as possible. But until next time, stay blessed.